Celestine Iisha Star. Don't forget the middle name. We met last year and just instantly bonded. She's so amazing. This is going to be great. She is going to talk about encoded transmissions and emotion of human consciousness. So we're going to take what Dr. Werner just showed us, take it to the next level. She has a really wonderful book. We exchanged books last year, The Galactic Earth Council, Reintegration of Earth Kin and Star Kin, and we have help out there, a lot of help. And Celestine is going to take us there with this great presentation. Everybody give a big hand for Celestine Iisha.
Okay, so feet on the floor. Breathing into the heart. Breathing in the I am. Breathing out the we are. Glory in the light of the Radiant One. Glory in the light of the Radiant One. Let's say it together. Glory in the light of the Radiant One. Glory in the light of the Radiant One. One more time. Glory in the light of the Radiant One. I'm so grateful to be here. I am Dr. Celestine Iisha Star, and I'm going to be speaking to you from the heart. This is a deep reckoning here. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of energy flowing. There's a lot of mental and emotional energy. We're going to first begin by preparing you for what I want to speak about. We're going to acknowledge that you carry intelligence that is not within the brain circuitry, but that you can bring this knowledge into your brain circuitry. It is the interface between you and the Creator. Do I have your permission? I call it your primal awareness. And I use it often when I'm doing my work because this part of you gives you instant information. It gives you true information. And there is no time barrier. So I can have you at your home right in this second. Where is your home? And you went there. How many people went there? Right? Okay. So we're going to begin with one of the beautiful images that I love to work with. It's very interesting. And I'm going to say the word, and then you could just kind of raise your hand when you have seen it or you feel it. Some people are kinesthetic. They don't see so much, but they feel, so we give respect to that. So the word is waterfall. And just raise your hand when you can bring that into your consciousness, yeah? Now take a moment and look at the waterfall and see how it's formulated. It was instant. Before I could even get the whole word out, everybody had their hand up, right? Now can you hear the waterfall, the water falling? Can you smell? We're starting to bring your inner senses that are outside of the body into realization. So is it morning, noon, night? You recognize that when you're looking at the waterfall, your heart knows exactly where you are. So we're relying upon your heart to be the finalizer. what I'm seeing is true. Morning, noon, or night. So this gives us the understanding that this particular awareness, this interface with creation that knows all parts of yourself, knows exactly how to place this in your consciousness. Now we're going to go above the waterfall. Let's look at the landscape that's going on. Seeing the vastness above the waterfall, you can see the water as it drops over the edge. Now let's go above the earth. As we go up above the earth, we're looking down at the earth, and yes, some people will see it as flat. And that's what they need. Because you have to understand, there are 7 billion Earths. There's not just one Earth. NASA does not have the codes on the one Earth. It takes all of us. So the Earth that you are seeing, take a moment, see how that feels. To look upon the earth. And now turn and look towards the cosmos and see what you see and how that feels. This is your primal awareness. You will notice it was instant. There was no questions. It gave you exactly what you needed. And now, bring that consciousness into your body, into this room, and be present with me now. Because that is what we are going to work on, is being present within yourself and receiving encoded transmission. So I'm going to take a moment and align myself. As I'm aligning myself to the heavenly consciousness of the Radiant One, I'm surrendering my breath so that I can be very clear to you in what I'm speaking. But before I do this, please to set your intent. What is it that you are seeking from me? What is it that you are seeking for yourself? So let's take a moment. Yeah, see? Let's take a moment. So we have our intent. And so it is. So we're going to speak about encoded transmissions. Encoded transmissions is one of the highest vibrational transaction between humanity that is going on today. It is quite different than if somebody was to listen to a voice outside of their beingness and begin to translate. Oh, I could feel the essence of spirits here. Grandmothers, fathers, children that are on the other side. They want to have a voice. And there are those of us who are sensitives. I am a sensitive. Since I was born, I could hear the voices on the other side. I could see. I could know. I speak to the wind when I know that it is a being. Yes? So let us take a moment and determine. If grandmother's speaking, she's like, I don't know if you should be working with my daughter. she'll step in front of her. She'll step between her until I can let her know that I could speak for her and let her daughter know that she's not really particularly happy for me to do the work. Once we straighten that out, she'll step aside and we can do the healing work that we do. So this is a form of mediumship, but it is not transmediumship. In 1985, and I told people yesterday, my mother passed, and it was kind of a very traumatic experience. To me, I was okay because I understand there is another side, there is another life. But it went into my being, and it came out as transmediumship, in which I left my body while walking on a trail, and another being came in and started speaking through me. But the information that was coming from Meso Keep It Up the books of the Seventh Council was extraordinary. We are human seed consciousness. What? What is that? You are a galactic being in a biological unit, and you are here as a resonant reflection of the Radiant One. Each of you are a monadic vibration of frequency. You are indestructible. Your name resonates throughout all creation. And there are many lives of which each sparks go out. Your dreams tell you of these different lives. As you become the integral, the sovereign integral of all your lives, you become in oneness of the totality of the self. And in becoming oneness of the totality of the self, you move from being and just an expression of the Creator. And so, as you become into oneness and you use your will, you become the human seed consciousness because you are becoming the God self. And so, this is an example of the transmissions that I received, transmediumship channeling. So we're in the 80s. Everybody and their mother was a channeler. They all had their shingles. They all had their shingles, but I thought, oh my gosh, well, this is very far out because when someone enters your body, your whole face changes. Your voice changes, right? And so I did this, there was Chiron, there was Metatron, and suddenly a God force entered. It was something that I had not experienced. This being literally could pick up boulders and just move them with a hand. The person who was always with me, Alan Williams, and he has departed this world, when I came back, his eyes were like saucers. And he's like, I think we better rethink this. This is a lot. And I'm like, what happened? I can't feel my body. Right? So for about 3 days, I said, yes, I think we better go check this out. What I learned from the Berkeley Psychic Institute was that when we go out of our bodies have a sense that we have died. And to be careful with what I was doing, to just allow one person to come through. And so we chose Meso, Keep It Up the books. He gave us meditations, the Kintsu meditation. He taught us how to work inside the grid of the earth. He taught us that we as a collective are actually moving our earth forward in the present time. It's like flipping a book, the pages of a book. We're sitting here together, and every word coming out of my mouth is all collectively moving through me back to you. So I'm like a feedback loop of your consciousness. So we liked Meso. Do you like Meso? You like some of the things he said? Beautiful. I love him. So we have 20 years of his transmissions, and then I decided it was time to to stay in my body, I could still hear him, and I can still share with you. So then it becomes channeling. Channeling that is not, I'm in my body. And so he's always with me, as is the high spiritual council from which he introduced. And as I ended up a yogini, literally naked in the woods, having tinctures for lunch and water, I began to elevate my consciousness, and the immortals appeared. I was in the land of our sacred star people, Star Nation, and this Mayakama Mountains took me in. I began to give Skywatches or talk to small groupings. We had the Temple of Light at home on a 5-acre ranch with medicine wheels and pyramid rooms. I was as far out as you could get. Who was going to reel me in? Nobody. But they did say, time for you to come down the mountain. And kicking and screaming, I came down the mountain to be with all of you today. You're welcome. Let's see. Okay, I think I can read this. So, the Galactic Earth Council was formed in 2010. And I'm going to have those who are with the council to stand up. I just want to acknowledge my crew. Yes, of course. If you got your card, you got your card. You got, stand up. You were with us last night. Come on. Yeah, look at that. We have offices everywhere. So this is our Galactic Earth Council. Any one of them you can speak to. We went out last night. We had a beautiful time. Blessed be. Thank you. So the Skywatches started in 2010. We've been doing this for 11 years. No abductees, no headaches, no mental breakdowns. I'm so grateful. We always do it in sacred ceremony. But what would happen is the star grouping, the Galactic Star Federation, would come and they'd send their scout ship 16 feet across. It's a 1-seater or a 2-seater craft. And they would ride with me and give me information. And there are those in the grouping that actually have been in the car with me while we have been driving. And all of a sudden the ship appears and we receive. So 28 days we work on these Skywatches. It's not just something that pops out of the sky. Oh, look, they're there, you know. They actually take into consideration each person that's going to appear, your consciousness, who you are, what your life path is. And then they give me what to work on, okay? So I'm going to read this from August the 9th, 2013. It's called The Work Begins. And this is a transmission from the High Spiritual Council. Now, we've made it clear a little bit about channeling, but let's look at encoded transmissions. Inside of the frequency of the words, here we have the word is power, the word is truth. There is something for each one of you. So I've attuned myself today to read this to you. And if I read it again and again and again, you would get something out of it different. This is the way it's designed. In the book, we have chapter 11, and if you read it, it is a transmitted, encoded transmission from the High Spiritual Council and other higher intelligence, the creative intelligence, right? So as I read this, just relax and receive. And my voice will carry it through to you. The work begins. This Galactic Earth Council meeting, we will be contemplating the theme, The Work Begins, given to us by the High Spiritual Council. It is an acknowledgement of those of you, GEC members, who are present. Understand, you have all reached elevated states of consciousness within the primal embodiment of your biological, emotional, and mental bodies. reaching these illuminated states of consciousness while keeping your heart, mind open and clear has allowed the presence of the Radiant One to expand within you. This expansion reactivates your divine embodiment as a star being. Glory in the light of the Radiant One. Full integration, reintegration is now taking place between you, Starkin, and you as Earthkin. So between the Starkin and the Earthkin. We honorably bow to your supreme accomplishments. Your galactic Earth grouping has brought to function the ancient Sempereth, divine plan, passed down to a grouping of starseed humans 12,500 years ago. The Sempereth, or divine plan, called into the cosmos and upon the earth for star beings to come forth and offer themselves to become transfixed and incarnated into the biological units. Humanoid bodies with its limited emotions, mental and spiritual capacities to begin the evolution of the species through third-dimensional time and space. The huge star beings would then incarnate lifetime after lifetime, ever evolving and becoming more refined through the recreation of the Radiant One and the alchemical process of cosmic transformation. The huge star beings would, after thousands of years of life experience, develop and evolve their biological, emotional, and mental bodies, spiritualizing the quantum field within the divine awareness until one by one they awaken and transform into human seed consciousness, divine seeds on earth, carrying the sacred encodex of life as earth beings. At the beginning of the movement of the Sempereth of the huge star beings were integrated into the star nations. They occurred for hundreds of thousands of earth years. They became known as the children of the earth. 12,500 years ago, a great destructive transformation occurred on earth. The Radiant One then brought forth and created the separation of Star Nation and the children of earth, or starseed humans, except through the sacred stargates and the wisdom septicles that allow the children of earth to recall and activate their connection to their divine souls. In other words, even though you were incarnated, if you awakened and you really had the heart's desire to go home or to be connected to your starkin, the way was always clear. It remains that way today. In this time and space, thousands upon thousands of starseed humans have evolved and awakened to their true radiant divine self. They have fulfilled the workings of the Sempereth as created by our Radiant One. The time of reintegration is now occurring. Each of you, through thousands of incarnations, have spiritualized the quantum field dynamics of your biological units, emotional and mental bodies, and have brought humanity into attunement with the cosmos and beyond the third dimensional fields of awareness into the realization of multidimensional universes. We now acknowledge you as the awakened ones. Glory be to Earth's star humanity. The heavens praise your name. May the wisdom of your beingness be a blessing for all creation. And so Tanendor, who is the commander of a Galactic Star Federation unit or fleet, is the one that gave this. It was the golden ray of active consciousness, unifying energies for group transformation, and gives focus to the reintegration work ahead. They call us hummingbirds. That's our symbol. We are the hummingbirds because we accomplish the impossible. They cannot believe that we are in these bodies. So they understand that humanity is passing through the fiery rites passage. They understand the true nourishment and earthkin and their accomplishments. We have the spiritual wisdom and the spiritual visions of war. We understand. Quantum energy lines. We understand where these lines are and how Earth and Starkin can work together to harmonize these areas. We have meditation and attunements beyond the biological unit, emotional and mental, into the quantum field and gravity to accomplish one further in this reintegration. There were landings in our advanced group. We had landings and meetings with the Starkin and Earthkin. And so I leave it there. Let's take a moment of silence and take this in. So you have received this encoded transmission